Little did he know, his devoted apprentice had ambitions that stretched far beyond their experiments. The conflict begins. Tryan strides through the main archives, his senses on high alert. A ripple in the celestial energy, subtle yet unmistakable, pulls his attention toward the artifact vault. His intuition, sharpened by centuries of experience, warns him of the impending danger. Tryan, whispering to himself, his voice tinged with concern. Something is wrong. This essence, it's familiar. It can't be. Chal. The vault's usual shimmering barrier flickers and fades as he approaches. The golden doors, which typically require a series of complex incantations to open, stand ajar. Tryan's heart races as he steps inside, his mind already calculating the possibilities and dangers that lie ahead. The confrontation. Inside the vault, Chal stands before the Orb of Eternity, one of the most powerful artifacts in existence. The orb pulses with a light that mirrors the treachery in her eyes, casting eerie shadows on her determined face. The air around her crackles with raw, uncontrolled energy. Tryan, his voice calm but commanding, concealing the turmoil within. Chal, what do you think you're doing? The vault is no place for your ambitions. Chal, turning to face him, her expression cold and resolute. Tryan, you've always been too cautious. This knowledge should not be locked away. It should be used to reshape the celestial order. I won't let you stand in the way of progress. Tryan, his voice hardening, the gravity of the situation sinking in. This power is not yours to wield. The knowledge here is meant to protect and preserve, not to dominate. You're playing with forces beyond your control. The battle erupts. Without warning, Chal launches a surge of energy toward Tryan, attempting to catch him off guard. He narrowly dodges, the air crackling as her attack impacts a nearby wall, leaving a glowing scar in the crystalline surface. Tryan raises his hand, summoning a shield of pure light to counter her next strike. But the intensity of her attack forces him back. Chal's attacks come swiftly, each one precise and infused with the dark knowledge she has secretly acquired.
Soaring high, like birds in the sky, a melody flowing through the air, horns echo, reaching for the heavens, drums resonating, heartbeat of our dreams. With every note, our spirits rise. In the symphony, we find our light. Together we stand, unbreakable and strong. This orchestra celebrates our song. Dancing like whispers in the wind, brass instruments, only taking the lead. Piano keys.
She manipulates the Orb of Eternity, warping time and space around Tryan, attempting to trap him in a temporal loop where he is forced to relive the same moment over and over. Chal, her voice dripping with arrogance as she intensifies her assault. You can't keep up, Tryan. You've grown complacent, hiding behind your titles and your books. I've studied every artifact here, learned every secret. You're outmatched. Tryan struggles against the temporal loop, his movements slowing, his spells faltering, as Chal's manipulation of time begins to take its toll. She sneers, believing she has the upper hand, unaware that Tryan is deliberately holding back, reluctant to harm someone he once trusted. Tryan, his voice steady, even as he is forced to defend. You may know the artifacts, Chal, but you've forgotten the most important lesson. Power without wisdom leads to ruin. With a surge of effort, Tryan focuses on the orb of eternity, using his intimate knowledge of its properties to disrupt Sun Chal's control. The temporal loop shatters, freeing him from its effects. He then redirects the flow of time, accelerating his own movements while slowing Sun Chal's, turning the tide of the battle. The turning point. As Sun Chal's movements slow, Tryan seizes the opportunity to launch a decisive counterattack. He summons the power of the Celestial Library itself, drawing upon the ancient knowledge stored within its walls. Scrolls and tomes rise from their shelves, their pages glowing with the accumulated wisdom of countless ages. They swirl around Tryan, forming a protective barrier as he channels their combined energy into a single, devastating spell. Sun Chal, her voice now tinged with desperation as she realizes her advantage is slipping away. "You can't stop me! The power within these walls will be mine!" Tryan, calmly, his voice filled with quiet resolve. "You've overreached, Sun Chal. The vault's defenses respond to intent, and your ambition blinds you to the balance that must be maintained." The spell, a manifestation of the universe's collective knowledge and wisdom, strikes Sun Chal with overwhelming force. She staggers, the power she sought to control now turning against her, the artifacts within the vault rejecting her touch. The ground beneath her feet trembles as the vault itself begins to react, the walls glowing with a fierce light as they recognize her as a threat. Sun Chal, falling to her knees, her voice filled with disbelief. "No, this can't be. I was meant to lead, to reshape the celestial order." Tryan, approaching her, his voice filled with a mix of sadness and finality. "You were meant to serve, Sun Chal, to protect the knowledge within these walls, not to wield it for your own gain. You've lost your way." The aftermath. As Sun Chal collapses, the vault's defenses reassert themselves. The golden doors slam shut, the protective fields around the artifacts glowing brighter than ever. Tryan, exhausted but victorious, watches as Sun Chal is enveloped by a containment field, the vault itself taking measures to ensure she can no longer threaten its sanctity. Tryan, quietly, to himself. The knowledge within these walls is both a gift and a burden. It is not for anyone being to wield alone. A pivotal moment in Celestia's history as Sun Chal faces exile. What drove this once powerful figure to such a fate? And what secrets does he carry into his isolation?